Hey guys, this is Bob from Michigan Machinists, and today's project is making a set of barn doors for a cabinet. Let's get to it, right? I got a mess going on in my bench, and what I've done is collected a bunch of scrap metal I've had laying around in the shop, and that's what I'm using to make these doors. So I gotta figure out how to attach this to the cabinet. And first thing I wanna do is I got my material, I got a plan in my head, but I'm gonna mount a vise on the Bridgeport. So let's get started on that instead of dilly-daddling away. All right, I am going to set up to start milling these babies. There are a couple scrap blocks that I had, and I don't need them this big. So since I have the mill here, we're gonna take them down a little bit. And kind of even them out. So we're gonna pick it up. Now I got a big chunk over here, so I'm gonna get rid of that baby right now. I can either do this by hand or I have the power feed. Boom, bada boom. Boom, chugaloom. All right, what we're gonna do now is cut up some of my steel that I threw up here that I found that I'm gonna use. This piece is gonna be my hinges, and I'm gonna do a twist in it. I didn't like this, was a little bit narrow, so I'm gonna go with a thicker part, and I'm gonna make them longer. So I'm gonna mark this baby out. Now I want them about 7 inches long. So, right? That's what we're gonna do. Now, I'm gonna break out the grinder rack. And for you guys that wanna know about this thing, I hate changing wheels. So I have a wheel for every grinder, right? So what do you got? You got a cutoff wheel, you have a grinding wheel, and you have a sanding wheel. And I'm actually not done with this. What I wanna do is add a power pack to it so I can run a cord up to here and have all these plugged in. And whenever I do fabbing, I usually drag this. And what I got a grinding wheel, sand paper wheel, flap wheel, cutoff wheel. I got a drill. We all got our cordless drills, but sometimes you need more oomph. And then I gotta have all my wheels here and some clamps, and usually you're welding or plasma cutting. So I got some where you could throw your nozzle in for a MIG welder or something, or a torch for your welder, or cutting torches. So that's why I made this, and actually, I mean, I made the thing so it's adjustable, a little over, but, and again, all repurposed. This square was a stand. This part was mounted up here. This was a tube. This began its life something else, and I didn't want to throw it away, so I repurposed it, and that's what we're doing right now. So let's get to it instead of just talking, all right? Let's do this. I got DeWalt. I don't know. You can have the best of the best and get stolen, and then you get to replace the best of the best, right? I mean, these, for me, they're a pretty good product for the price, $100 about, for anything. I drop them or something. I usually cut the cords. Probably almost all of them got their cord cut once or twice. When you're doing a lot of crap, it's hanging there, man. So, all right. You can chuck this up in a vise and just trim them off. Now I have a saw, I have a cutoff saw, I have a metal bandsaw, but by the time I drag that stuff out, I can have the stuff already cut and done. So what this is for, quick and easy, man. So that's that. Those are my hinges I'm gonna get to start to work on. And this is gonna be where I'm gonna mount my rods. So I found this piece and I found this piece. So this was for something else. It's the same thickness. So without wasting a lot of it, I'm just gonna cut that piece too. So mark it off so they look the same. It's just a piece that was for something else, and I'm gonna repurpose it, so. Hey guys, I'm just kind of mocking this up. So again, my angle pieces, we're gonna use them to support. Our doors are gonna mount here, and I need to put 2 rods here, or at least it's my design. So 2 rods are gonna go here, and then we're gonna cut the doors and fit them for each side of the cabinet, basically. So again, it's what I have scrap laying in this shop, and it's kind of a honey-do thing. So you guys are coming along for the ride. Hey, I changed my mind. These things are so big and fat, I don't need them. So where am I at? I'm gonna use this thinner plate, but I wanna cut a couple chunks off. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit, because I don't want to eat sparks all day. So I'm gonna mill this thing. I'm gonna use my mill as a saw. Well, got my pieces sized up. Now I'm gonna put my holes in there for my rod. And I got my rod laying up. I actually bought this rod, Tractor Supply. You can go to Tractor Supply Farm and Garden. It's just 1/2-inch rod. Probably about 10 bucks for a stick like that, in case you guys are wondering. So I'm gonna drill a couple 1/2-inch holes, and these are my rods where my doors are gonna hang on. Got these kind of sized up and got my holes in them, and my rods are gonna fit through there. So that seems good. And really, these are gonna get welded on. You know, you're gonna have a left and a right, and my 2 rods going. You gotta have room for the doors to be able to move without hitting each other. All right, so we got our angle pieces cut and ready. We machine these down and put our holes in it. Now I'm gonna weld these babies on here. All right, so that's that side. So Batman, we gotta do the opposite side. All right, hey guys, I think these are good for now. We're gonna clean up the edges a little bit more and make sure they fit where we're going. But we're gonna go on to these carriage bolts right here. And these are how we're gonna fasten the steel to the hinges that are gonna slide on the rack. So again, this is stuff I had in the bottom of a drawer, and they're different lengths. So basically carriage bolt, what's rounded on one end, and you put a nut on some. So I'm gonna trim them up to make them all the same. After they're installed, we're gonna trim the excess off anyways. So you don't have to get fancy with these. Now that I just got them trimmed around the same size, I wanna do these hinges a little bit different than I previously did, and I had an idea. So I've done a couple, or I've already done a couple. I want them to make like their rivets. So they got little hammer marks in them. So I'm gonna show you how I did that. So again, they're just regular bolts from the hardware store. These are leftover another project. I just drilled a couple holes in a piece of metal so I could sit the whole bolt in there flat. Now I'm gonna mount that baby in my vise. Right? Tighten it up. I just did it so I could get 2 bolts in there. And basically the key to it is you don't want to smack the snot out of this thing. We're just going to dent this thing. So I'm going to heat these up and show you how I do it. So these things, once they get heated a little bit, it don't take much. And I just want to make them soft. While your torch is on there, sometimes it's hard to see if it's molten, if it's a bright red or not. So when I'm letting off like that, I'm just seeing, I don't want to melt this baby. I just want to make it soft so I can put a bunch of little dents in it. All right. Hey, earlier I showed you guys we cut the hinges out of some bar stock. I actually trimmed them up afterwards to make sure they're pretty much the same length, just being more careful. And I could have slowed down and made more exact cuts. But this was my idea on the hinges. I wanted to do a twist on it. So I'm gonna bolt the sheet to these, so there'll be 2 hinges, and then my rods are going this way. So I'm gonna drill a hole here and a couple here to mount it, but I kinda want this twist in the same spot on all of them. So I'm gonna show you how I did it. So I'm gonna lay these out. And really, I'm gonna lay out 1 inch from the top, and really 4 inches off the bottom. So kinda, I want about 4 inches, and I want about 1 inch up here. So I want to twist in the middle here. So this is where I want to twist. And really, this is just a layout for my vise. So I'm gonna use a torch. I could throw this in my furnace, my forge, and heat the whole thing up, but I just want to twist this. So this is really all I want to heat up. So I'm going to bury it in the vise up to here, and I just got a crescent wrench, and that's where I'm going to twist it. So I'll show you how I'm doing it. So just clamp that baby in the vise. And that's about it. I'm just trying to make sure she's straight and square. And I think that's beautiful. All right, so now that we got them twisted, they are cooled. I'm gonna, which I already did one, we're gonna drill the hole. This is gonna slide on the rod. I got a rod over here. So really, these are what's gonna slide the door back and forth. So I got one done. We're gonna do the rest of them. I gotta go turn the money button on. The American rotary is the go-go. We got our holes drilled for the rod. Now we're gonna do the mounting holes for the sheets, the steel we're gonna do. And I'm gonna do 2 holes, and it's my design, I don't know, you wanna make them functionable. So, basically I'm gonna go a 1/2 inch from the end, and then another 2.5 inches. So somewhere up in there is what I'm gonna do. And really, I made a makeshift marker so I can put these in the same spot and vise every time. A little cheat, I guess. Now we're down to the rods, and I need to cut them to the length I want, and I come up with 31 inches. So I'm gonna do both of them, and really how I'm gonna mount these is it's the width of my cabinet, and we're just gonna tack them in there. I got my brackets that are gonna mount on my cabinet here. And this cabinet is a repurposed cabinet. This actually came from a local college, Ferris State University. I picked it up from a lady who had it on its side and used it as a bookcase in her living room. I'm telling you, this thing's like 200 pounds. This thing's heavier than snot. And again, throw some paint on it, and why not repurpose it? You don't need new stuff. So, you guys will start seeing my idea come out here. These 2 brackets go up here. We're gonna run my rods here, and my doors will slide. I'm gonna cut doors, right? So I can get in here and you can hide all this crap. So the way I'm gonna mount these is I got some pole barn screws, because it's just getting attached to this steel, which is actually pretty darn thick. So guys, I've already drilled the bracket, and I'm just gonna stick a drill bit through my holes I already have and drill into the cabinet for a pilot before I start. Hey guys, sorry, you caught me laying out my steel. We actually picked this up from IKEA, so some assembly required. No, I'm just kidding. This is old, again, this is off a roof of some old farm or barn. So I'm laying out my good spot, and you got to make a decision. So any women out there, good luck with making that decision on which way, where to cut. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so a lot of this comes in, and the ends are terrible, so I like to square them off too. I already checked the front, and it looks pretty good. So really, I just lay a square on one of the ribs to my length, and then I just mark it, right? And I got it good enough. Take a board, continue it over. You don't want your door to be all crooked, do you? So I got it laid out. I know where I'm cutting. I'm cutting right down the center of a rib, and I'm cutting over here. So I'm gonna get rid of this garbage first. To cut this steel, I choose a diamond blade. I'm even not sure which brand this is, but they sell those diamond blades, and it works pretty good for these. So that's what I'm using. That'll work. Where's that other piece we got from IKEA? This is kind of the final product. We got a few tweaks to do. These are just barn doors. They get quirked. They get tweaked. We're gonna tack these in still, but I'm gonna take them off and deburr them so the white don't get cut. But that's kind of it, man. You get the gist. Just something different, and all this stuff was laying at home. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're gonna dive into more machining later on, but this is just stuff I repurposed and I had laying around the shop. And it's a honeydew list that's off my list now, so. I'm gonna tell her it's taken me a couple more days off, so don't tell her.